What's up guys, it's me the Unknown Man, and I'm sorry for the late submission for my review for the Destiny 2 beta, but life happens. I had a longer script, but right now I'm just going to briefly talk about the subclasses, the weapons at our disposal, PvE and PvP. So let's get into it. Alright, let's get into subclasses. I can say each new subclass has its own learning curve, which is a good thing, but I felt as though I was not impressed with some more than others. With both the Arc Strider and the Sentinel subclasses, both of their supers have you get close to the target majority of the time just to get a kill. Now, I wouldn't say this is a bad thing, but the Arc Strider does not have any type of health regeneration like the aforementioned Sentinel subclass. Moving along, talking about new subclasses, let's move on to the Dawnblade. Now, it has a thrown projectile swords in its super that has a weight and speed to them that just did not feel right to me. Now, I can say I'm still learning, but at the same time, it just seems though that quicker targets and targets at a longer distance just did not seem to be able to be hit because they either seen it coming or were just moving too fast for the projectiles. Now, continuing the trend of supers, let's talk about the returning supers. And I'm gonna start off with the first super that really just stood out to me was the Hunter's Golden Gun. Now, the one thing for me for the Golden Gun that stood out to me was the 6-shooter perk for the Golden Gun. Now, to my own perspective, the 6-shooter would be great in PvE because it would be great for knocking down mobs, small mobs. But in PvP, it really did suffer the most. Now, why would I say that the 6-shooter did not feel right in PvP? Because it just did not last long enough as a roaming super. Sometimes for me, it was only just for 2 shots and boom, it was already over, and it just did not last long. Now, even in one scenario, I just activated the gun, didn't shoot not one bullet, and just poof, and by the time I actually got it out, I was actually had a target, it was already too late. And now, speaking of why I feel as though that the 6-shooter just was not good in PvP, was because when enemies know that you're activating your super, they just run and hide if they have the time to do it. And if they can outlast you before you can even shoot a shot. And probably take the advantage and can actually kill you. The Warlock's Cataclysm Nova Bomb was to me a little, as I can say, slow. Even though it did have tracking, I just felt as though that it just did not do the job as, Nova Bombs from Destiny 1. I felt as though that it had properties that I could just simply outrun it or just step out of an area and just be unaffected and just period. I felt as though in certain situations that people could outrun that kind of Nova Bomb because how slow it is and how big the blast radius was. Even the small little Axiom bolts that they had for it afterwards could simply be outran by even a agility 2 Titan. I just ran my ass off. Now, I felt as though there was only one solution to this whole problem with the Nova Bomb, which was to either hit somebody who was close to a wall or the ground that you could actually hit them there. But if you shot this Nova Bomb too close, it would do damage to you, which you can easily say is a trade, but I don't want to die by my own move. Finally, for returning supers, we have the Titan Fist of Havoc, which I can say was the only returning super that felt damn near fantastic. And as an OG Striker Boy, yeah, I'm gonna have that tattooed across somewhere. I'm only joking, but as an OG Striker Boy, this was the only super that damn near felt great. Because as the original one was only made to really shut down supers or take out groups of enemies, now you can actually do this over the course of periods of levels. You can run people down, you can damn near strike them down over a larger area than just one single designated spot. Now, moving along from supers, let's move on to grenades. Now, for me personally, I love grenades. I've been loving grenades since Halo 3, Halo 2, Halo 1. I've been able to throw grenades and just love them. Now, grenades to me, I felt as though it should be the one thing in any type of shooter to damn near mess somebody up to the point of death. I don't care if it doesn't kill them, but if it damn near makes it where they're crippled, that is what I want a grenade to do. But As I can say in this beta that I felt as though grenades did not hit as hard as I wanted them to. I don't need them to kill somebody on full life or full health, but I did want them to actually hit them as hard that I could say, yes, I can put this person down quickly and not have to sit there and chase them down with more than one bullet, or more than 2 shots to say, okay, this person still needs to be put down. Now looking at how grenades worked in this beta, I can say, and it might be for the final game also, I can say that I just did not feel as though that sticky grenades themselves just did not find itself a place in PvP. Now I love sticky grenades because, hey, they're sticky grenades, they were one-shot kill in Destiny 1, but it just damn near did not do the job for me in this beta. Now, the only thing I could request, if it's going to hit that, that little, either give it a larger blast radius that can actually, target more than one character or whatever, but it still says, okay, if I'm sticking somebody, I'm looking to say I'm being rewarded for either my skilled hand, or if I have a skilled hand and it just doesn't stick nobody, or it does stick somebody, I just want it to be able to blast more than one person. I don't know, that's just an idea on my part, but people are not going to take my advice. But I'm just a simple person, but as somebody says, if it's not going to hit us hard, it at least has to be able to do something else. That's how I look at it. So let's go on to melee attacks. Now for me, I just say damn. damn for melee attacks. How weak they are now. Well, like I said, for melee attacks, now I can say that for DPS output, they are the damn near worst option to pull out of your ass as in this overall beta / full game. Melees are going to suffer. Regardless if they're even powered up, they are going to suffer. So that's all I can say on that. But at the same time, I found it very weird in a few different scenarios that I found myself in, that it seems as though that jumping melee attacks still have more damage than a standing melee attack. Now, given the one example that I should be being shown on screen, that I am running for my life because I already know I got my shield back up, I run into this hunter and bam, I'm dead on a damn near full shield. I cannot explain this. I know that this is a beta build, but at the same time, this man, woman, child, I don't care who it is, they knocked me out with one hit. So I can say that there's still some secrets in this game that I don't know about, but at the same time, they're there and they might still be in the final game. The one thing that surprised me were the new class abilities. For this new edition, I felt as though they were giving us options to work as a team, because they allowed you to rally to one point and to bunker down as a team. The Warlock's empowering and healing rifts allowed your team to either power up their guns or to heal up their shields in a designated area. For me, out of the 2 rifts, my favorite was the healing rift, because it allowed your team to rally to one point, get a quick heal, and then run back into the fight. Or if they really wanted to bunker down somewhere, it allowed them to be able to gain an overshield to allow themselves to take more shots and to deliver more damage. Moving along, the Titans rally and towering barricades each serve their own function that can actually change the way your enemy approaches you. The rally shield or barricade has an ability to reload your gun automatically when you take cover, but at the same time, it does provide standing cover that allows you to shoot over it. But the only thing I felt as though that was a flaw for this barricade, this rally barricade, was that it just did not provide enough cover from above. And even in PvE, when you had enemies that stand over you, they will shoot right above that barricade. The towering barricade or shield has a way to be able to block passages, allowing you to be able to shape the battlefield your way. Because if enemies do walk through any of these barricades or shields, they will get a massive amount of damage taken to them the longer they are actually in there. But the one thing I said for the towering shield is that it allows you to make quick decisions on your feet, but at the same time protecting you. Now let's look at the hunter's marksman's dodge that reloads your gun, and the gambler's dodge that lets you recharge one of your powered melee attacks when close to enemies. Now the one thing about these dodges is to me that it just does not scream teamwork, because it just does not serve the team. It only is a selfish, self-serving ability. Now looking at Titan and Warlocks, I can easily say that they can easily pair up their powers and make it for any playlist, for any enemy that's approaching you, very, very hard for them to be able to take you down easily. Now the Hunter, on the other hand, I feel as though just does not pair well with the Titan and the Warlock's class ability. Now the one thing I can say that I felt as though that it could be boosted in some sense, like something similar to what the Chain of Woes ability, which has a reload buff, that allows you to for your whole team. But the thing is, that's not part of the role. Now for hunters, I feel as though if they had something similar where you get a reload buff or some type of movement buff, something that allows them to boost the team, that would be able to change the battlefield. Because now you're like, oh, we got a little almost like a bard in a RPG to boost the team as he's in a close proximity, just like this quote-unquote chain of woe that speeds up reloads. But that's just my opinion. Bungie still has time. But at the same time, like I said, they can easily sit there and figure some way to tweak this thing, because I know that hunters in the lore are supposed to be loners, but at the same time I feel as though that if they want to be able to be considered team friendly, they need to have it where they can actually help the team in some sense, like these barricades and these rifts. But let's move along. If you want to continue my late ass review, then go to part 2, which is the first option, where I talk about the weapons that were at our disposal. If you're not interested in weapons, then go to part 3, where I talk about PvE and PvP.